let's get closer to July.
We want to hear from you. Go to wnyc.org/poetry to find out how to send us your poem.
Support for WNYC comes from the Central Park Conservancy. Central Park is a living work of art, and even lifelong New Yorkers don't know its biggest secret, that it is cared for by the Central Park Conservancy, its members, and volunteers. Learn more at centralparknyc.org.
On the next Brian Lehrer Show, Nobel Prize-winning economist Joseph Stiglitz. His new book, The Road to Freedom, has been reviewed as a case for a progressive capitalism based on cooperation for the common good. Can he envision an economy that is both capitalist and progressive in today's world? Also, the evidence so far in the Trump hush money trial. The Brian Lehrer Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on WNYC.
Marketplace Morning Report is coming up next, and then in 10 minutes at 9 o'clock, it's the BBC NewsHour on WNYC. Let's check in with London and see what they're working on. Hello, London.
Good morning, WNYC. I'm James Menendez. Today on NewsHour, President Biden says more weapons and ammunition will be sent to Ukraine within days after the Senate approves $60 billion worth of aid. We'll look at the likely impact on the war. Also, the mysteries behind a newly discovered painting by Klimt up for auction today. That's BBC NewsHour at 9 on WNYC.
Low 50s this morning with showers in the city. We have scattered showers in this Wednesday forecast, mainly in the afternoon. Mostly cloudy today and 67 and gusty. Then tonight it'll be cold down into the 30s in the city and the outlying areas. Gusty as well. And that's ahead of a cooling off tomorrow. Sunny and 57 before we start warming up again. It's 8:52. 52 with showers now.
Millions of Americans could get a pay bump.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Twilio Segment. Segment helps every team access good data that's real-time, clean, and accurate. The result is relevant customer experiences that drive real revenue. Segment.com. And by Progressive Insurance. Progressive is looking for individuals who want to join an inclusive and unique culture. More information, including application, at progressive.com/careers.
From Marketplace, I'm Sabri Benishore, in for David Brancaccio. New rules out today from the Biden administration around work. These rules make millions of people newly eligible for overtime pay and almost completely ban non-compete agreements. That's where your employer bars you from working for competitors after you leave. Marketplace's Nova Safo has the details.
The Labor Department is implementing the biggest change to overtime eligibility rules in decades. Right now, overtime mostly applies to workers who are paid hourly. Salaried employees are exempt unless they make about $36,000 a year or less. On January 1st, that number will rise to about $44,000, and in 2025, up to about $57,000. It will then adjust every 3 years. Meanwhile, the Federal Trade Commission has voted to largely ban non-compete agreements. They were once used to prevent select workers, such as executives, from switching to a competitor and taking trade secrets with them. But they've become relatively common, affecting roughly 1 in 5 workers, including many who earn $20 an hour or less, according to officials. Many states have already banned or restricted their use, but business groups say the FTC's national rule is too broad. I'm Nova Salvo for Marketplace.
President Biden says he'll sign a $95 billion foreign aid package into law today. The House approved it over the weekend. The Senate passed it last night. It includes funding for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer has more.
Most of the money in the aid package goes to Ukraine, about $60 billion. The money for Israel includes humanitarian aid for civilians in Gaza. The rest goes to the Indo-Pacific region, including Taiwan. There's also a provision requiring the Chinese company ByteDance to sell TikTok. Otherwise, TikTok could be banned in the U.S. ByteDance is expected to sue to block the ban. President Biden issued a statement saying passage of the bill sends a message to the world about the power of American leadership leadership. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says she still wants U.S. allies to agree to give some of Russia's frozen assets to Ukraine to support its, quote, continued resilience and reconstruction. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
All right, let's do the numbers. The FTSE in London is up 0.4%. S&P futures are up 0.2%. NASDAQ futures up 0.7%. Dow futures pretty much flat. The yield on the 10-year Treasury is 4.653%. Tesla CEO Elon Musk said in an earnings call that the electric vehicle maker is speeding up its plan to make cheaper EVs as demand has cooled down for electric vehicles generally, and Tesla's revenue has fallen sharply this year. Tesla stock is up 11% in pre-market trading.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Rubrik, a cybersecurity company focused on securing the world's data. When cyber attacks put businesses, reputations, and careers at risk, Rubrik provides the power to bounce back fast and become cyber resilient. Rubrik.com. And by C3 Generative AI, verified, traceable answers, secure, hallucination-free, LLM-agnostic, IP liability-free. Learn more at c3.ai.
You might remember in the State of the Union last month, President Biden promoted his administration's efforts to close the digital divide and connect all Americans to affordable, high-speed internet